Hi everyone. In this tutorial by SecondLineThemes, we'll show you how to create a blog alongside your podcast episodes. By default, you'll probably manage both your blog posts and podcast episodes in the same place, under the main Posts section of WordPress. You'll see a list of all your posts. This includes both podcast episodes and blog posts, as you can see here. When checking the front part of the website, you'll see that the blog posts appear alongside the podcast episodes on the same list or grid, and that might not be ideal for everyone. In order to differentiate between the two, you'll want to create separate parent categories for both types. Let's go into the main categories screen. Here you can create 2 or more separate categories to include different types of posts and be able to separate them later. We'll create 2 categories, one called Podcast and the other one Blog. Next, we'll edit all the pre-existing categories and assign a parent category to those. Any category that related to your podcast would get the Podcast category as the parent category, and any blog-related category would get the Blog category instead. Once we assign a parent category, the child category would be slightly indented and have a hyphen right before the category name. We can also directly assign a parent category to one of your post types. For example, we'll set the blog posts to have the blog category directly. Next, when you check your site, some of the new categories might appear, but the blog posts and podcast episodes would still be on the same list. To separate the two, simply edit the page with Elementor and edit the Post Grid widget. Now click on the Post Query tab and then insert one of the categories you'd like to filter by. In this example, we'd like to only show podcast episodes on the list, so we'll type podcast in the field, and it would instantly only show posts related to that category. We can also type blog to only display blog-related posts. You can also use multiple categories separated by a comma. If you want to use 2 separated post types for the blog and podcast, consider using the Seriously Simple Podcasting plugin. If you use that plugin, a new section called Podcast would appear in your main sidebar. You can then add all your podcast episodes to the podcast section directly and manage your blog through the Posts section. When displaying a list of posts, simply change the post type to either Post or Podcast to ensure only one type of post appears in the list. Now you can enjoy a more organized website with both a blog and a podcast properly separated both in the admin panel and on the live pages.